I started last week, and I will be preaching. There's a way God just confirms it. And I was sharing with some people yesterday about this, how the Lord made me to get on. While I was preparing and just thinking about the materials for it, interestingly, God led me to a couple of materials that I found out that it gave me a better understanding of all I'm going to share with us. And how the whole thing match, you will see it in the weeks to come. I just want to encourage you that please don't miss this series I'm going to be preaching for some time. One thing I can guarantee you is that it will lift your life up from wherever it is. Even if it is at the very highest, you will go higher. If you are on the low side, you will go high. That one I can guarantee you. I started to share with us about the bird called eagle. And we looked at eagle as a bird. And I decided, like I said, we wanted to see the characteristics and the strong point of an eagle, since God told us we're going to soar as an eagle. And so that's what gets us to where I am, where we want to be able to talk about the bird eagle. Amen? And look at what are the things that makes the bird eagle what it is. What do I mean by that? That is so respected as a bird. I've told us the eagle is not the biggest of the birds, yet it's the king of the birds. We have the ostrich, which is far bigger than it. It's not the fastest bird. We have the falcon that is faster than the eagle. But the eagle flies to an height that no one can fly to. And so the eagle is in a class of its own. And one of the things I've said to us that this year, flock with the eagles, because everywhere you see the height of the eagle, any other bird that you will see at that height is an eagle. And one of the things I said to us is, don't flock with the chickens, because the chickens are on the floor, the tail of the floor. And you can eat chicken, but don't flock with them. Amen. And so last week I started to share with us about one major thing about the eagle. We're going to look at other ones. And it is the sight. The sight of the eagle is like no other animal. It has a wonderful sight. You can see its prey 2 miles away. Unbelievable. And it sees things in 7 different colors. The average human being sees, they see it in 5. And so the eagle is an amazing bird. So we want to look at the vision of it. And that's where I started with us last week. And so we laid the background on what vision is. But the vision we're talking about is not the sight of the eagle. It's a vision for our own lives. Are you here with me? Are you here with me? Yeah. I'm laying a background. Don't let me lose you this early. So, I'm continuing from where we stopped last week, that life itself, it's a journey. Every journey has a destination. Because if, say, you have a vision for something, that means you can see something way ahead of you. And so every journey has the destination. Everybody ends somewhere in this life journey. A few people end up somewhere, just anywhere. But some people end up somewhere that is with a purpose. Those are the ones who have a vision. Life is multifaceted journey. What does that mean? In life, we have the journey of education. We have the journey of marriage. We have the journey of our career. And so life has different areas for us. But if you look at it, for each of those things also, there are visions for it. So you can have a vision for your academics. You can have a vision for what you want your family to be like. You want your children to be like. You want your marriage to be like. And so life itself is multifaceted, that is, goes in different directions. And so each of these one can have vision. So our lives can have what I call multiple visions. But the one we're really talking about is the vision for your life in totality, where all of these are all working together. So your career, your education is working towards this vision. Your marriage is working towards this vision. Everything around you, your relationships, is working towards this vision. So you have a vision for what you would like your relationship to be. You have a vision what educational level you want to get to. You have a vision for what you want your children to be like. But then there is an all-encompassing vision of the ultimate place you want to see your life in the future. So all of this that you have in different areas, they must all work and synchronize for that final one. Do I make sense in what I'm saying? Please follow me. And so a vision is also having a mental picture of what you want your life to be at the end of the day. You can describe how you want your professional life to be, your spiritual life to be, your family to look like in the next 10 years. In other words, you will be able to look beyond the present situation and paint a picture of what you think your life can be, though you are not yet there. So vision is looking from the present to what you think the future should be like. A clear vision with courage to follow through increases your chances of coming to the end of your life and looking back and being satisfied or being dissatisfied. You could end up with your life and say, I finished well. You could end up with your life and say, I finished, I succeeded. You could end up with your life and say, my life counted. But you can end up with your life with regrets. Without a clear vision, the chances are that you will come to the end of your life and wonder what your life could have been. Please follow me. If you don't have a clear vision, you will end up at 70 and wish what your life could have been. Vision gives significance to life. And it can also, at the end of the day, make a life that is meaningless to suddenly become purposeful. Why? Because you have a vision for your life. Vision brings your world into what I call focus. I said this one to us, that vision simplifies your life. Vision. And, this is so important, and I'm passionate about the few things I'm going to be sharing with us in the next few weeks. Because if you follow them, you are guaranteed with God that you are going to be successful in life. I'm believing, and I've been praying, that this series will let people become and find greatness in their life. Become great and find greatness in their life. That is the purpose of this. That this year, all of a sudden, you will bring a lot of things into focus. You will focus on a lot of things and defocus, if there's an English like that, from things that are meaningless in your life. Because vision simplifies your life. You don't entangle yourself with a lot of things because you have a clear vision of where you want your life to be. So without one, a clear vision, life can be complete confusion. Vision gives significance to our lives and gives meaning to our lives. Vision brings order to the chaos of our life. If your life is chaotic, it's because you don't have a vision. Because vision will bring order to our lives. A clear vision enables you to see everything differently because you have a clear vision of what you want to do. Let me say this as I go on. There are 4 things that vision also does for us. Among so many we'll be talking about. Number 1, you'll find out that when you have a vision, passion all of a sudden comes. Because vision always evokes emotion. And so when you have a vision of what you want to do, all of a sudden you have a passion. So that's why I think I shared this one with us last week. You find out that you don't wake up and hiss. But because you have a vision of what you want to become, passion comes with it. You are excited. Our daydreams are suddenly enjoyable because they allow our emotions and thoughts to wander outside the worlds of reality. What does this mean? Because all of a sudden, you have a vision. For example, let me say, I have a vision to become the president of this country. When it might look like a daydream, but all of a sudden the passion comes. What passion comes? I think I'm going to have to do politics. I'm going to have to speak to people this time. I'm going to have to do this. It's like you are intoxicated. So when you wake up in the morning, you wake up with a passion of what you want to do and what you want to achieve. Many people who wake up and regret waking up or hiss on their life and say, oh God, well, I'm just tired. It's because they don't have a clear vision. But for those who have it, even if it is daydreaming, thinking that one day I'm going to be addressing the whole world, it gives you passion. It gives you the energy you need to get up on your bed and face the real world. A clear forward focused vision actually allows us to experience ahead of time the emotion associated with our anticipated future. You are not yet there, but because you have a vision of what your life can be, you are already psyching up yourself, getting excited about that future that you are going to get into. Passion makes things to be easy for us to go through. So when we go through any challenge, because of where you are going, the passion keeps you going on. At times you look at your bank account, nothing is there. But because you have seen the future of where you're going, you still have that energy to go on. Number two, motivation. We're going to see, I'm going somewhere, just follow me. Motivation. Vision provides motivation. When you see a man or a woman who lacks motivation, you are looking at a man who has no vision. When you have a vision, you are motivated. You are motivated about what you want to do. And, just studying for this thing, one of the things I was thinking when I was in college. When I was in college, I had a vision that I would like to graduate. But I remember writing this thing down that I didn't have the motivation to get up in the morning and go for lectures. So I'm there, I think I have a vision to graduate. Or maybe I didn't even have, but I didn't have motivation to go to classes. And this is what happens to many of us. We don't have the motivation. And that's why, because our vision is blurry or it's not clear. When your vision is clear, you are always motivated. Because vision is a big part of the reason many of us, we completed college. But many people didn't complete because they were not motivated. But one way or the other, God made me to complete. We are motivated by the thought of the graduation and the rewards that it could bring. That's why we endure the rigors of studying. Because when we think about what the rewards of graduation will be, it gets us to be motivated to get up and go and study. The third thing is direction. One of the things it gives direction. Vision set direction for our lives. In actual fact, I said vision simplifies our life. It sets direction. It gives a roadmap for your life. Vision gives what? A roadmap for your life. Vision simplifies decision making. A lot of times we are saying, what should I do? What should I do? But when you have a vision, you know exactly what you're going to do. Because the choice is this along, does this affect, will this enhance my vision? It's not going to enhance it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. That's why I say vision just simplifies our life. It gives us a roadmap. Because vision makes you know where not to detour, where not to get off. It knows also, it lets you know where to what? Get off. It lets you know where not to, but it also makes you to know where you are going to. Follow me. Vision gives, anything that moves us towards the realization of our vision gets our green light. While everything else we said, red light, caution, I can't go this way because it's not in line. So vision gives what? Direction. People without a clear vision are easily distracted. Still talking about direction. People without a vision, if you don't, you get it, they say, where are you going? I don't know where I'm going. When you don't know where you're going, any distraction, anything along the path of your life will distract you because you don't really know where you are going. But when you know where you're going, it changes things. You don't drift from one activity to another when you have vision. You don't drift from one relationship to another. You don't drift from one financial decision to another. You don't drift from one moral compass to another. You have a clear place where you want to go. It gives direction. People with a vision don't say, today I'm going north. Where are you going tomorrow? I think it's south. No. They have a clear direction of where they're going. Vision translates into purpose. Visions gives you a reason to get up in the morning, like I said. Suddenly your life matters. Because you feel that if I don't show up, something important will be missing. Without you, what could be and should be won't be. Without you, what should be and what can be won't be. What does that mean? All of a sudden, when your life has a purpose and you have a vision, your life suddenly has a purpose. You feel that what should be and what can be will not be. Why? Because you are not there. All of a sudden, your life has significance. All of a sudden, you see yourself differently because you know that there is something that you are going to contribute to life. There's something that you're going to contribute to your generation. All of a sudden, you have a vision of what you can contribute to mankind. And I'm going to explain this one. Just follow me. I'm going somewhere. The question is that where does vision come from? Vision is born in the soul of a person who is consumed between what is and what could be. Vision is consumed in the heart and in the soul of a person who says, this is what it is, but this is what it can be. I need to explain this. Vision is born in the heart of someone or the soul of someone who says, this is what it is, this is what it can be. So what it can be is the vision. Did you get what I said now? What it can be is the vision. And so how does that happen? The only way you will see what it can be is that a picture has been painted in your heart of what it can be. And all of a sudden, you start to walk towards what it can be. Because you know what it is now, but you know what it can be. Let's read Nehemiah chapter 1. We're going to use Nehemiah, which is the other interesting thing. I've always thought about Nehemiah for leadership, and people know that. It's a good example of leadership. Nehemiah is in the Bible. So Nehemiah chapter 1. Nehemiah chapter 1. Let me read this, and then we'll see. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakaliah, in the month of Kislev, in the 28th year, while I was in the citadel of Shushan, Hanani, one of my brothers, came to Judah with some other men, and I questioned them about the Jewish remnant that survived the exile, and also about Jerusalem. They said to me, those who survived the exile are back in the province, and are back in the province are in great trouble and disgrace. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates have been burned with fire. When I heard these things, I sat down and wept for many days. For some days, I mourned and I fasted and prayed and said, This is a very wonderful story. O Lord God of heaven, the great and the awesome God who keeps commandment and all of those things. But and then it went on because of time. He ended it in verse 11. You know, verse 11 where he says, I was a cupbearer to the king. And that is very, everybody say cupbearer to the king. I will not be able to deal with that today, but I'm going to deal with it because he being a cupbearer to the king looks like cupbearer. Now they're talking about the walls of Jerusalem being down. You are in exile. Now you are having a burden about it. Why did I want us to read this? And we're going to go a whole lot on this Nehemiah for the next few weeks. Because many times we look at who we are and we can never see ourselves do any great thing. But this guy was a cupbearer, but he had a burden about the walls of Jerusalem. And don't forget, how did I tell us to read this? He saw what it is. And he has a vision of what it could be. That's simple vision. What it is was that the walls were down. The burden he had is what it could be. The difference between this and many of us is that the walls were up before. But for many of us, in the mighty name of Jesus, by the time we finish this series, you might not have seen that thing before. God is going to let you see what you have never seen before. Let me explain this. The story of Nehemiah, the walls of Jerusalem were up before. This man might not even have been alive when he was up. So he saw that, let's assume he saw it. So he saw what it could be. But your own, you are going to create a new thing because it has not been done before. Just like all these apps and everything that they're doing, nobody has done them before. But God will show you what it can be. Oh God, I don't know whether you got what I'm saying. So God will show you what it can be. So for Nehemiah, he might have seen the wall before. So the walls are down. But for you, that's not your own case. God is going to show you what it has not been done before. That's what you will do. And that's how you will have significance in the mighty name of Jesus. All right. So visions are formed in the hearts of those who are dissatisfied with the status quo. So Nehemiah was dissatisfied with what was going on. The story of Nehemiah is, of course, very interesting. Why? Because there were people living there. They saw the walls down, but they didn't have the body. People were living in Jerusalem. This man was not living in Jerusalem. The only thing is that he used to live there. He knew what it was. So hearing this, he picked up a burden. And, help me God. Let's look at this and then let me. In the month, verse chapter 2, in the month of Nisan, the 28th year of King Artaxerxes, when the wine was brought to him, I took the wine and gave it to the king. Don't forget, he said he's a cupbearer, so he goes before the king. Why does your face look so sad when you are not ill? This can be nothing but sadness of heart. I was very much afraid, but I said to the king, may the king live forever. Why should my face not look sad when the city where my fathers are buried lies in ruins and its gates have been destroyed by fire? So he had a burden. He was dissatisfied with the status quo. It was status quo for those who were living there. They saw it every day, they ignored it. But guess what? Visions always carry a sense of conviction. He had the sense of conviction. And we're going to deal with this in the coming weeks. We're going to take us through this process. Because if you read his prayer, it's because I'm running out of time. That's why I'm trying to move very fast now. If you look at his prayer, he had the conviction that we are where we are because of our sin. This is not what is supposed to happen. This is the present. But he saw a greater future. He saw what it could be. Listen, it is not an idea of what to be done, but what should be done. This is something that must be done. So he didn't have an idea that this is what to be done. No, that's not what he had. He had a conviction of what should be done. And not only what should be done, it says this must be done. That's what he did. And we will see this as we go on. It is this moral element that gives vision the urgency. This moral element that says this thing cannot continue like this. I cannot fold my hands. I cannot continue to be here in the palace when that is going on. Every one of us must look at our lives and ask, is this what my life is, to continue to pay bills? Or do I have a significance? Is there something I can contribute to this world? And God used the story of Nehemiah, who was like a slave. In actual fact, he was living in captivity. Like many of us, we are from the diaspora. But he saw a significance of what he could contribute to his country. He saw what he could contribute to his country, that his country will not be called shitholes. He saw the need to go back and say, a light in the west, but you know what? There is something that can be done. Vision is a clear mental picture of what could be, with a conviction that it should be done. With a conviction that it should be done. I like this next phrase I saw somewhere. Vision is the preferred future. I like that. Every one of us must have a future that is preferred than the present life that we have now, than the present state that we have now, than our present situation. That's what vision is. It's a preferred future of what life can be, of what not it can be, what it should be, or not what it should be, what it must be. That's conviction. So you see life, you say, this is what it can be. No, this is what it should be. But later you say, this is what it must be. That's why I said those things. You must have a passion for it. Because if you don't have passion, when obstacle comes, you say, no, I can't do anything. When you see the size, how gigantic it is, you say, no, I can't go on. But passion makes us go on in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the discouragement, as we will see with the story of Nehemiah. There were the Sanballat and the Tobiah. Those of us who know the story. He was not deterred by it because he saw what it could be. It's always the preferred future. Vision demands change. Vision implies that there is a movement from wherever you are to somewhere. That's what vision tells us. It lets us know we are not stagnated. Because vision will always move you towards a destination. It will always move you towards a target. So if your life seems to be in the same place, it means you don't have a vision. Especially when it's for a long time. And we're going to talk about this. It requires someone to champion it. What does that mean? That is, when you have that concern about what is going on, like Nehemiah, when they told him that thing, he said, I will champion this thing. There are many things God has laid upon your life or your heart over the years, but you've been reluctant to champion it. That's what we want to walk us through. All the dreams and the visions that you have had, that's what we want to walk us through. How do we make sure that this vision is birthed? How do we make sure that this vision is accomplished? And I can tell you, it's possible. Follow me in the next few weeks. We will go line by line and we'll find out that whatever God has, there's something I always say to us. God does not dangle carrots before us. When you dangle carrot before a donkey, you let the donkey continue to go. God doesn't do that. Whatever God has shown to us, he showed it to you because he wants you to accomplish it. He showed it to you so that you can accomplish it. He did not show Joseph and the dream where his brothers were bowing down for him. No, he didn't. Just show them for showing sake. No, he showed him so that it will happen. That's why he showed it to you. The things God has shown to you, it's because he wants it to happen. Many times we fail. We are overwhelmed. Before I forget this, let me say this. If the vision is not bigger than you, I said this last week, it's not from God. It's your own personal ambition. And guess what? You don't need God. Just go ahead and do it. But when you see that this thing, how can I do this? How can a slave in a foreign country think that it will go back to Jerusalem and the people will listen to it? So he knows that can only be God. For vision to become a reality, someone must put themselves out there. You must put yourself out there. The fear of failure cannot stop you for what God has put in your heart, because anything God orders, he pays for. For anything God orders, he provides for. Anything that God calls you to, he will anoint you, he will empower you to do it. Will there be obstacles? Yes. Will there be challenges? Yes. That's where you need the passion to continue. That's why he puts that passion inside of you. Let me say this. Vision always begins with a concern. Don't forget that one. Vision always begins with a concern. That's how it begins, a concern. God ordained vision to begin with a concern. And that's what we look at with the story of Nehemiah. It was a concern that he had. They told him that the walls of Jerusalem was down. And all of a sudden, the burden came. Vision comes with a burden. There are a lot of burdens that you have of what things are and what it could be. You have it. You even look at your marriage. You have a burden that this is what it is, but this is what it could be. This is your life. This is what it is, but this is what are you going to do to make that change? That's what we're going to be discussing. God ordains vision to begin with a concern of whatever area. And this principle will work in every area. You will hear or see something that gets your attention. There are many things in your place of work that gets your attention. We're going to talk about it because you must never see where you have been as a coincidence unless you're not a believer. If you're a believer, what you've been through, the challenges you have had, it was preparation for now and for the future. It is not an accident with God. Nehemiah being in the presence of the king was the handiwork of God, because God knew there would be a time when he would need that king for it to happen. You think about all the major stories in the Bible. Joseph being in the jail, how come they put him in the jail and the baker and the butler was there at that time? So there are times when we feel we are in a situation, it's the process of God's handiwork for it. Why did Saul become king? Why was he? He was looking for his father's donkey. How come the donkey was lost at that time? So everything you have been, like we will share, like I said in the coming, you will find that it's the process, it's the handiwork of God that has moved you from one place to the other. The relationship, the connection, the challenges, and everything you've been through, all has been put together for one reason, for your vision to be actualized. He has placed you in a position because of where he wants to take you. I'm going to take 5 more minutes with this. So it begins all the time with a concern. Something that you are bothered about. The way things are, you just don't like it. All of these are product and ingredient for vision. Let me tell you this. I say it begins with a concern. There is what you call a passing concern. That's not what I'm talking about. How do you know it's a passing concern? You were concerned about it last month. Last year, you are no more concerned about it. That's not vision. That's just a concern. But if you have been concerned about it for 5 years, you have to revisit it. It can only be God's vision in your heart. So a passing concern is, I feel like doing this. When you ask them, hey, I think I want to be a doctor. Oh, no, I don't think I want to be a doctor again. Maybe a nurse. And just anything in the medical something. No. You are visionless. No, I'm telling you. That is a passing concern. Or let me retract the word you are visionless. It means that is not your vision. That's what I mean. That's not your vision. That's just a passing concern. It's not a burden for you. When it's a burden, no one can separate you from it. It keeps nagging you. It keeps coming back all the time. You'll find yourself thinking about it a lot. At times you lose sleep over it. You can't let it go. The thought of it is continuously with you. And this happens especially for men when they just found a girl and they like the girl. Until they marry that lady, nothing. Even if the lady says no, like our brother was telling us, you will say, I'm going to stay with this one. I'm going to stay with this one. Because the vision you see is yourself and that woman. You can't let that thought go. Let's say this. When you look at this man, Nehemiah, his prayer was specific. Not only was his prayer specific, the Bible tells us he did what? He fasted. We are going through fasting at this time. Our fasting is going to dovetail into prayer retreats. Let me tell you this. You better join the fasting. Some things don't go unless with prayer and fasting. One thing we are going to learn about this is that when this man had this thing, he had a burden. That was the first thing. His burden took him through the next step, which is prayer. The reason why many people's vision never see the light of the day is that they don't take it into prayer. Why do I say that? The vision was God's giving anyway. So he's only the one that you have to take it back to so that he can reveal it to you. He can show God that this thing that you have put upon and laid upon my heart, it is important for me. I'm going to do it. It is always done in the place of prayer. So if you say you have whatever is a vision, what God is laying upon your heart, and it's been heavy upon your heart, not because the way you felt 2 years ago, now you're not feeling like that. Again, it's not nagging in you. It's not of great concern to you. It has not become what is being a dominant thought in you. That is not a vision. Ask God for a new vision. Ask God for a new body. You will find out with this story of Nehemiah, he could do no other thing again. Everybody that saw him knew this man was burdened. Look at what the king said. He said, you've never been like this. He could not separate himself from that burden. And he was specific, as you'll find out later. About the prayer, he was specific about the request. He was specific about what he wanted. As we will find out, many people, they've not carried the burden to the level of carrying it to the Lord. For God now to show them the road map, because no one knows the totality of their vision. What God does is that he shows you the end, and now you start. But he now tells you how to navigate and get to the place. But that thing is always back in the place of prayer. Nehemiah concerned over Jerusalem. It consumed him. It did not only consume him, it broke his heart. What he saw broke his heart. Brought tears to his eyes. Changed his countenance, that even his master could know that this is a changed man. This is a man that is burdened. Everybody knew there was something wrong. Everybody knew something was bothering him. Do you have that kind of vision that when people see you, it's not that you are looking, you have a melancholic look, but the thing is that it's a burden for you. You cannot separate your talk from it. Every time you're talking with somebody for 5 minutes, you go back to it. That's when we know you have a burden. You always go back to it. When you see people who are burdened with something, they tell everybody. They tell everybody. Not even vision. You know, when you are burdened with, when you have a burden, anybody you meet, they just need to puncture you like this. You just spill. Because you are burdened with it. He prayed persistently about it. He prayed persistently. Not a passing prayer. It consumed him. This was vision in the making. And what will surprise you the most, let me try and end, is that when he had this thing, he did nothing but pray. He didn't resign his job immediately. If you look at the story, they said the first time when he had it, look at in chapter 1. In chapter 1, they said, in the month of Kislev, the words of Nehemiah, the son of in the month of Kislev, can you see that? Chapter 1, verse 1. In the month of Kislev, in the 20th year, go to chapter 2. No, not verse 2. Chapter 2, verse 1. In the month of what? He tells you, number one, it's not the same month. People who know the thing said that was nearly 4 months apart. 4 months apart, he carried the body. It was not a passing thing. It was something that he kept praying for. So at times, with vision, as we will learn, as we go on, there is the time when God prepares us. There is a time of preparation. He didn't say, God has shown me this, I'm no more working with you, sir, I'm resigning. No, he didn't do that. He was praying. And the prayer made the king to recognize his countenance after nearly 4 months. That's why prayer is the first step. And I'm not saying this one religiously, I'm saying it truthfully. It's the first thing that it has to be anchored on. This body, just don't have a body. Take it to God in prayer. That's when God will tell you, wait. That's when God prepares you for it. We just don't plunge. We are developing and we are discovering the vision for a particular area and for a particular time. I'm out of time. I'll continue from here. Father, Lord, the few things we have said, enlarge it in their hearts. Not only enlarge it, Lord, let them start to take a step of faith. And let them start to realize that no vision from a child of God that is not going to be birthed by you. Let there not be premature birth of visions. Let there be a completion in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Heavenly Father.